Alright guys, welcome to our channel once again. Today on our JAMB biology exam revision series, we have 20 questions here to answer on the topic chromosomes. So guys, ensure to stay till the end of this video because you'll be learning a lot from these questions. So guys, remember these are repeated questions in your JAMB and there are high tendencies of seeing these questions in this year's JAMB again. So guys, let's start with the first question here. But before we start guys, you know what to always do at any point where you feel you can guess rightly the answer to the question. You can always feel free to pause the video and try out guessing the answer to the question before we provide the answer thereafter. So guys, let's start with the first question here. It says the parts labeled I represents the A. Ribose sugar, B. Phosphate linkage, C. Deoxyribose sugar, D. Base pairs. So guys, the answer to this question is option D, and that's base pairs. So guys, this is a DNA strand, and this part labeled I represents the base pairs. So guys, take note of that, and let's go ahead and check out the next question, and that's question number 2. Guys, the question says, which of the following is a hereditary material of the cell? A. Protein, B. RNA, C. DNA, D. Vitamins. So guys, the answer to this question is option C, and that's DNA. So when you talk about hereditary, the DNA is where the materials for inheritance in humans and almost all other organisms can be found. So guys, here is the answer to this question, and that's option C. So let's look at the next question guys, and that's question number 3 guys. The question says, an organism that has been extensively used to test the chromosome theory of hereditary is A. Drosophila melanogaster, B. Homo sapiens, C. Musca domestica, D. Zimase. So guys, the answer to this question is option A, and that's Drosophila melanogaster. So this is a species of the flies, and it's under the taxonomy order of Diptera. So it's actually in the family of Drosophila. So this species is known generally as the common fruit fly, and guys, it is the species that has extensively been used to test for the chromosome theory of hereditary. So let's go ahead and look at the next question guys, and that's question number 4. It says the hereditary material of the cell is A. DNA, B. Starch, C. DNA, D. RNA. So guys, of course you should already know by now that the answer to this question is option A, and that's DNA. So let's look at the next question, and that's question number 5. It says use the diagram below to answer the question that follows. Here in the diagram we have the young proglottid is represented by A, I, B, II, C, IV, D, III. So guys, the answer to this question is option C, and that's IV. That's the young proglottid. Let's look at the next question guys, and that's question number 6. It says the chromosome number of a cell before and after the process of meiosis is conventionally represented as A. 2n to yield n, B. n to yield n, C. n to yield 2n, and then D. 2n to yield 2n. So guys, the answer to this question is option A, and that's because the number of chromosomes in the parent cell is actually halved during meiosis. So this process is required in order to produce either the egg or the sperm. So meiosis is actually carried out only in the sex cells. So guys, that's the correct answer to this question, 2n to yield n. So already we know that n is like half of 2n. So in meiosis, the chromosomes go from diploid to haploid. So the correct answer, guys, to this question is option A, and that's 2n to n. So let's look at the next question, and that's question number 7. A health condition that is known to have resulted from gene mutation is A. Anemia, B. Color blindness, C. Sickle cell anemia, and D. Hemophilia. So guys, the answer to this question is option D, and that's hemophilia. Hemophilia is a group of hereditary genetic disorder that impair the body's ability to control blood clotting. So this is the actual answer to this question, because it is the health condition that results from gene mutation. So guys, if your blood is not able to clot, it means it will result to bleeding not stopping. So your blood vessels can't stop bleeding when there is a rupture. So let's quickly go ahead and look at the next question, and that's question number 8. It says the two normal types of sex chromosomes are A. XX and XYY, B. XY and XXY, C. XX and XY, D. XXY and XYY. So guys, the answer to this question, like you must have guessed rightly, is XX and XY. I believe every secondary school graduates should know the answer to this question, and guys, that's XX and XY. So let's quickly go ahead and check out the next question, guys, and that's question number 9. It says, how many chromosomes will be present in a gamete if the somatic cell has 8 chromosomes? So guys, the answer to this question will be half the number of the same chromosome. So remember that they said how many chromosomes will be present in the gamete. So guys, the gamete talks about the sex cells. So when you hear about the sex cells, the sex cell actually always produces half the number of the chromosomes that is in the cells of other parts of the body. So the cells of other parts of the body is the somatic cells. So guys, that's the simple explanation to this. So I believe with this explanation, you must have guessed rightly the answer to this question. So let's go ahead and check out these options. Option A says 8, option B 10, option C 6, option D 4. So guys, without wasting much of our time, let's choose rightly the right answer to this question, and that's option D. So let's look at the next question, guys, and that's question number 10. It says the genes affecting the same traits and are located at the same position on the homologous chromosomes are called A. Autosomes, B. Chromosomes, C. Alleles, D. Cosy. So guys, the answer to this question is alleles. So the genes affecting the same traits and are located at the same position on the homologous chromosomes are called alleles. So alleles are different forms of the same gene. So they are located at the same position on the homologous chromosome. For instance, somebody can have the allele for tallness, that's TT. It can be capital T, capital T, capital T and lowercase t, or lowercase t, lowercase t. So guys, that's allele. So let's look at the next question, and that's question number 11. It says the correct increasing order of size for the cell components responsible for heredity is A. DNA, gene, nucleus, chromosome, B. DNA, gene, chromosome, nucleus, C. Chromosome, nucleus, DNA, gene, D. chromosome, DNA, nucleus, gene. So guys, the answer to this question is option B. The correct increasing order here is the DNA, which is the minor, followed by the gene, and then followed by the chromosome, and then they are all in the nucleus. So the nucleus houses the chromosome houses the gene, and the gene houses the DNA. So guys, that's the correct order here. Let's look at the next question, and that's question number 12. It says, all hereditary characters in a cell are passed on from parent cell to daughter cell through the process of A. Meiosis, B. Implantation, C. Fertilization, D. Mitosis. So guys, the answer to this question is option D, and that's mitosis. All hereditary characters of a cell are passed from parent cell to daughter cell through the process of mitosis. So mitosis is simply a cell division, and in this process the cell will have to divide, copying the DNA and other cell constituents. So this is a process that allows all hereditary characters of a cell to be passed from the parent cell to the daughter cell. So let's look at the next question, guys, and that's question number 13. It says, how many haploid number of chromosomes can be found in a man? Options A, 48, B, 23, C, 24, D, 46. So guys, the answer to this question is option B, and that's 23. In humans, the haploid number of chromosomes is 23, and this is the number of chromosomes in the sperm or the egg. So that's half the number of the diploid chromosome that you can find in the somatic cells. So let's look at the next question, guys, and that's question number 14. It says, the biological factor that is unique to each individual is the A. blood group, B. RNA, C. eye color, D. DNA. So guys, I believe you must have guessed rightly the answer to this question already, because this seems very cheap for you guys, and the answer to this question, like we should know already, is the DNA, and that's option D. So let's look at the next question, guys. Question number 15. We are heading to the end already. We have just 5 more questions to go. So let's look at this question. It says, if a DNA strand has a base sequence TCA, its complementary strand must be A. GAT, B. TAG, C. ATG, and D. AGT. So guys, the answer to this question is option D, and that's AGT. So guys, you should always know that in the base pairs, the A pairs with the T and the C pairs with the G. So always take note that we have C pairing with G and we have A pairing with T. I also like to say at GC. So I don't really know why, but it makes me remember this so quickly when I say at GC. So I know that at is AT, and then GC is G and C. So when I know that, I always say at GC for this, and I can always quickly remember this, and then A pairs with T and G pairs with C. So guys, you have the sequence here. So you see the correct answer we are choosing here is option D, and that's AGT. So with that, we can choose A for T, A pairs for T, and then the second here is G, that's the G pairs for the C, and then the third one here is the T pairs with the A as well. So guys, that's the correct sequence, and that's the correct answer to this question. So guys, let's look at the next question, and that's question number 16. It says, which of the following is a process of transmission of hereditary characters by chromosomes? A, genes relating to the same characters occupy identical locations on the chromosomes. B, dictating the formation of a protein by a gene in a chromosome. C, separation of homologous chromosomes into 4 daughter cells. And D, separation of gametes during fertilization. So guys, the answer to this question is option B, and that's dictating the formation of protein by a gene in a chromosome. So detecting the formation of a protein by a gene in a chromosome is a process of transmitting hereditary characters. So let's look at the next question, guys, and that's question number 17. It says, which of the following is responsible for storing and transmitting genetic information in cells? A, endoplasmic reticulum. B, cell membrane. C, mitochondria. D, nucleus. So guys, the answer to this question is option D, and that's the nucleus. The nucleus is responsible for storing and transmitting genetic information in the cell. So guys, let's look at the next question. That's question number 18. It says, the specific number of chromosomes in each somatic cell is represented by A, 2n, B, n, C, 23, D, 2 to the power of n. So guys, the answer to this question is option A, and that's 2n. So remember the equation we had earlier on, 2n to yield n. So where n is the number of chromosomes in the sex cells, 2n will be the number of chromosomes in the somatic cells. So guys, that's how it works here. So whenever you hear somatic, like I said earlier on, it just means the cells in all other parts of the body. So you don't need to just think so much about it. So guys, 2n is the answer to this question, and that's option A. So let's look at the next question. Question number 19. We have a diagram here, and that's the diagram of an animal cell. Guys, the question here says, the organelle responsible for hereditary is labeled. So guys, before you be able to answer the question here, you should at least know what the organelle is, and then what the structure should look like. First of all, let's realize that the organ that we are to detect from here is the nucleus from this cell. And then next, we also need to know what the nucleus should look like. So guys, the nucleus is just this small round black stuff here at the center. So that's the nucleus of this cell. And guys, it's the organelle that is responsible for hereditary. So we now have to understand what the organ is labeled with. So guys, the organelle is labeled II. So guys, option B is the correct answer to this question, and that's II. So let's quickly go ahead and check out the last question for this class. So the question here comes with a diagram. So here you can see the diagram fully well. So the question here says, the organelle responsible for hereditary is. So before we proceed, I believe you know that this is also a cell, but in this case, the plant cell. Nonetheless, you should know that the organelles responsible for hereditary here should still be the nucleus. So guys, you have to locate the nucleus from this cell. And guys, as a bonus, try to understand or know all the organelles of your cells, both the plant cells and the animal cell. It's pretty easy to know. At least you should at least know where to find the nucleus, ribosomes, Golgi apparatus. You should also know where the mitochondria is in the cells, and you should also be able to maybe dictate the plastids, that's the chloroplast, the lipoplast, and the rest in a plant cell. So you should also be able to detect where the cell membrane is and which cell has both the cell membrane and cell wall, and which one has just the cell membrane. The animal cell has only the cell membrane without a cell wall. The plant cell has a cell wall, so you can see the cell walls around here. So guys, all these major organelles of the cell, guys, try to be able to identify them. So that's a bonus for you. You can go ahead, study that, and maybe you'll see it in your exam, and then probably you call me a prophet. So guys, I was just kidding. So this is the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you are not yet a subscriber. So if you have any question regarding this video, please drop your question on the comment section below, and we'll be sure to give you a response. Don't forget to share this video with your friends to enable us reach out to more people. Thank you for watching this video, and see you next time.